time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up.
Good afternoon, GreenTech. Thank you so much for coming. We hope you are enjoying a very inspiring festival, and we will do our best to add on to this experience. We're diving into the complex world about sustainability management, and while job titles might suggest that it can be self-explanatory, we don't really think so. The reality is rather multifaceted. Success hinges on stakeholder buy-in, external partnerships, and every organization has its unique culture and values. And our question will be, how do we maximize sustainability's potential for impactful change? I have a number of great experts sitting next to me, and for the creative icebreaker, I thought we might start with you, Katrin. The question is defining your role through characters. Which Disney or Pixar, we're very generous about this, character describes your role as sustainability manager and why?
Well, I think I would choose Elsa from Frozen because she is a strong leader, a female leader, of course, and she loves nature and she uses her forces to protect nature. And yes.
And the cold never bothered her anyway. And the cold never bothered her anyway. That's,
sure,
yeah,
sure, and that's important too. So, to me, she's a real strong role model for modern female great leadership.
That's an excellent answer. Thank you so much. We head on to Gabi. What would you say?
You know, difficult question, but I thought about Hulk. Hulk from Marvel Industries, given that he is combining in that, you know, kind of story, scientific brilliance, and I think we need a lot of, you know, real deep science to solve our issues, but, you know, paired with power for impact. And, you know, I guess that's what all of us really want.
And the green is a perfect match also.
And the green, obviously, you know, matches it as well.
Good choice. Getting more difficult. Philip, what's the answer?
Yes, the first character which came to my mind is Bagheera of the film of
Jungle Book.
Jungle Book, because I like to see people develop. I'm CEO, but for me it's important that people develop. I like to see them succeed, but I'm there when they need support. And sometimes they are surprised they are so close.
Thank you so much. Now the last one, Michaela.
Yeah, so I would not just choose one single character, but a group of characters, and that is the superhero family from The Incredibles. Yeah, because for driving sustainability, we need superpowers within the group, and we have them, fortunately, in our team on the different levels, at the business areas, at the group functions, and every single employee, and we need to unleash these superpowers, yeah, to drive together our sustainability goals.
Talking about unhinging superpowers, I mentioned it already, each of you represents a company with very unique industries, cultures and values. If we continue with you, Michaela, how does this shape your role as sustainability manager? What challenges does it present?
Well, there are quite some challenges. So we are an international technology group, 12,000 people at 100 locations. And yeah, we perceive ourselves also as the home for entrepreneurs. So we have a lot of single entrepreneurs in the company that take the responsibility also for sustainability. But that also means each one has its own thoughts about how to drive this forward. And so we were luckily establishing this group-wide sustainability initiative that united us. So we now have the so-called House of Sustainability to work and collaborate across the group, across functions and across business areas. And now we can lever our full power, or the superpower, and then drive sustainability.
Philip, you're not the CSO, but you're the CEO. Why is that?
Yes. Why is that?
Why is that? Sustainability being part of your portfolio?
Yes. When I joined Wala 20 years ago, I was coming from the financial industry, and I thought business should serve humanity, but I didn't find it around. So I got to know Dr. Hauschka and Wala, and I was surprised that Dr. Hauschka and Wala is a foundation. And then I was surprised also that the founders of Dr. Hauschka considered themselves as guardians of an idea and not business owners. And I think that's already very important if we want to understand sustainability. It's part of the business model. And that has been the case for Dr. Hauschka and Wahler for 80 years, and we attract many people who just want to come to this corporate culture of sustainability. And my problem as CEO and CSO in one person is that sometimes I have the feeling that we have 1,000 employees and 1,000 sustainability managers. And that is not very easy. It's great, but we need to organize as well this process, and this is an initiative. And what we have done is we have a third organizational structure, which we call cluster. We have, of course, functions in the organizational charts, we have projects, and we have clusters. And one of the clusters is the sustainability clusters, and it draws in people who have a high intrinsic motivation. We have 8 for 1,000 people, and they collect everything which has to do with sustainability, which is not sort of cared of in the organization, in projects or organizational charts. So this is a new form we are trying out. It's very interesting, and we are on the way.
That sounds exciting. I'd like to end this round with you both, and it's super interesting because Gabi, you're at Procter & Gamble for how many years now?
33.
That's amazing. And you asked for the sustainability part a few years ago. Why?
You know, I thought for the remainder of my career, I just want to make sure that I can have an impact on improving consumers' lives for generations to come. So, you know, this is really important that we, I think, you know, in our time, take the responsibility for laying the foundation for, you know, bending the curve, so to speak, right? You were talking a lot about the, you know, the different scenarios, and if we want to end up in the optimal scenario, it's on us, you know, to do this. So that's kind of the reason why. And to get back to the point, you know, that you asked before, when I look at our role here, then for sure we also have to do the jobs, you know, we have to do in climate. This is scope 1 and scope 2, but for P&G, which is a consumer goods company, and many of you allow us in your homes and on your skin, what is really important is to tackle the consumer footprint. You know, if we are not tackling the consumer footprint in a way, then we will not be on the mission to really deliver on our net zero objective. So this is kind of the key challenges for us.
Katrin, you are not for very long at Deutsche Bahn yet. Is it still
5
exciting and new? 5 months?
Yes.
I read once it's 100 days that you have these fresh eyes looking at it. So what would you say from those very new 5 months? What are your biggest challenge in your role?
I figured out 2 big challenges. One is in the increasing of the role of a sustainable manager. That was some years ago more maybe a marketing thing or maybe a strategic thing. But now it's you have to be an all-rounder because you have regulations, you have the customers, you have the suppliers, you have your crew, and so on and so on. You have to deal with politics, last but not least. You have to sit on stages and so on. So to me, this is really challenging, but I love it, to be honest. It's really the best job I've ever had. But the other challenge I see is that you have to deal between economics and sustainability, and that is really hard because there you have real simple conflicts. To give you an example, at Deutsche Bahn, it is really important. If we want to bring more people, more goods on railways, we have to build the infrastructure. But that is not good for the climate. So this is really, there is a conflict to me. So I'm here to reduce these effects. And we have these conflicts in more than only this example, and they become bigger and bigger and bigger as more regulations we have. So this is one of the most challenging things. internally and externally.
I want to deep dive for a bit into the first point you've mentioned. We would probably call it stakeholder, navigating the stakeholder landscape. Convincing stakeholders across various levels of the company is crucial. How many people are working at Deutsche Bahn?
328,000.
That's quite a bit.
Approximately. Yes, it is.
So what's your approach to convincing them in terms of sustainability, reaching out to them? How's the stakeholder navigation working internally for you so far?
Fortunately, it's not such a big problem to convince internally, to be honest, because being sustainable is the unique selling point of Deutsche Bahn. We are sustainable, of course we are. So most of the people I already met, this is why they are here, and this is what they want to be. They want to be part of the solution. But externally, that's a little different.
How do you do it?
Well, I try to begeister them.
Yeah, make them enthusiastic about it? Or,
Yes. And I try to explain always what Deutsche Bahn is for society in Germany. And if you think about, just think about of one of the Streiktage. Yeah, there you could see what happens if it's not running anymore. So we are really part of this running Deutsche Bundesrepublik. So this is what I try to explain. One strong is to bring more people on railways, as I already mentioned, but the other is that we are such a big company, such a big group, and we have such a huge responsibility because we are running through the whole country. So this is, the responsibility is huge, and that is what I always try to explain.
Philipp, I would imagine that at Dr. Hauschka, convincing internally is not the biggest challenge, but how do you navigate it externally?
Well, convincing internally, one thing is the intrinsic motivation, but it has to go in a certain direction. And what we have the big opportunity also that we can have the people in the organization participate in our working processes. For example, in harvesting on the fields of our biodynamic farm. So when you ask for a strategy, our strategy is participation. So what we try to do is to make sure that as many employees as possible can participate in our processes. Harvesting on the fields is really an impressive moment. We need to harvest, so we don't get external people. We make a call on all the people, and after a couple of days, we have sufficient people together to come at 5:30 in the morning on the fields and harvest what we need, and you get a breakfast in exchange. So that's what it is, but for all those, and it's a number of employees, it's the experience of being interconnected with nature. We live from nature, our company especially. So interconnectedness of all beings, that's our strategy. It is a strategy. It's not just by chance. It's not a sort of group work gimmick. We do it very consciously.
Michaela, the Körber group does a lot of different things. I can imagine there are maybe some tailor-made sustainability engagement concepts, or how do you do it for the various products and units?
So it's not about the stakeholder management, so it's about partnership, what you're meaning?
In terms of stakeholder management, how do they navigate it outside and engage with them? Yeah.
Thanks, yeah. So, we have a manifold set of measures that we need to take. So first of all, when we started our sustainability initiative in 2021, we worked out the whole concept together with the people in the group, yeah? So they had the possibility to shape it, and now, the good thing is that they also find themselves in it again. And the second thing that helped a lot is the very personal approach of my boss, Erich Hoch, who's the CTO and COO of the Körber Group and responsible for sustainability in the group, and myself. So we are personally motivate the people, encouraging them to take responsibility and to drive to reach our sustainable goals, which are very ambitious. And yeah, and the next thing is communication. So we reward also the, let's say, the engagement of teams and also of single persons when it comes to sustainability. So we have a yearly K Sustainability Award, K for Körber. And yeah, for example, last year, a team from our Hungarian side won the internal prize. And we also have our sustainability ambassadors, which we reward. Yeah, so we report about their work and their engagement in our intranet and different channels to inspire also others to take responsibility. And that, yeah, is a manifold approach, which really helps and yeah, to unleash the superpower of everyone.
Gabi, you're nodding very heavily, so maybe not the biggest debate on this podium now, but what would you say from your experience? What strategy has been proven to be the most effective in terms of stakeholder management?
You know, for us, the consumer footprint is the critical lever. So, and it's the toughest one, obviously, because you all are, for the right reasons, absolutely free in the way you use our product. So we need to make it easy for you to have kind of the behavior that has the least impact. Let me make an example. If I want to pick out the number one Scope 3 impact, then this is washing your clothes. I see also in this auditorium, we all wear clothes, right? You know, we're all happy about that. But this means we all are washing clothes. This is for us, you know, the impact that goes across all countries globally. And the key factor for the footprint is the washing temperature. More than 60% of the footprint is in your choice of washing temperature, which means that if we have researched a product that has the capability to make your clothes clean in cold, then now it's important to ensure that you understand that you can do it now, because historically you had to wash in hot water because the washing powders couldn't do this. Now you can do this because the formulations have changed. And hence, you know, with the WWF, our partner, we are having in Germany the campaign, Wir drehen runter, we turn down, in order to explain to consumers why it's right to wash at lower temperatures. So if you want to take one thing back home, if you turn from 60 to 30, you save 60% emissions, energy and cost. And if you turn down from 40 to 30 degrees, you save 38%. So if you know, make yourself, not me, if you make yourself a favor, washing cold, and that is the campaign that is really critical. And obviously we are measuring against that. We are measuring with the consumer panel, statistically relevant, the actual behavior, because this is so important, and this is the toughest and biggest challenge.
That's super interesting, thank you. And I would like to stay on the topic of measuring things, the beloved topics of KPI. How do you define success in the sustainability area? You mentioned one, but in general, how do you do it?
You know, I think we are known for measurement and scorecarding. This is part of our DNA, so we kind of measure everything, which means, you know, if you're talking Scope 1 and Scope 2, this is, you know, within our own territory. There already this morning there was a discussion on digitization. I'm not sure if you were there, but they talked, for example, about smart meters. So metering in the plant at each and every, you know, machine, the actual consumption, and putting this into scorecards, and hence you're being able to constantly measure everything on Scope 1 and Scope 2, have global transparency about this, really important. Then Scope 3, as I said, this is, you know, really hard. And having real data on consumer behavior, not on intention, but on behavior, is really important to steer actions. And then obviously it is critical to report transparently. And who is interested, you can go on your smartphone to png.com, go to investors page, ESG, you'll find all the reports.
Philip, how do you do it? Your favorite KPIs?
Yes, first of all, I have to say that coming from the financial industry, I love numbers and KPIs, but I know the limitations as well. And I'm not going to talk too long about limitations. I'm going to talk about a KPI as well, but I just wanted to say in this context that for us it is important to add to the KPI on-site perception, because it is the perception, it's like a picture. You have a KPI, it's like pixels in a picture, and the picture has 2 dimensions. But when I want to meet you or know which person you are, I need to meet you. So we need to have more than KPIs. We need to have this full perception. That's, for example, why I walk around once a quarter with the Workers' Council and just meet people and talk about sustainability, about whatever. So that's very important, on-site perception. And the KPI, one KPI which we would love to have, we not have yet, because it's very important to us, is biodiversity. We are working very hard also in exchanging with other people interested. So if you have a good idea on a KPI for biodiversity, because we talk about climate change, which is a tremendous task, but biodiversity is even bigger. And we need to start earlier than we started when we talked about climate change. So please, KPI for biodiversity.
Call for action. That's a good engagement strategy already. Michaela, the Körber KPIs.
Yeah, so first of all, success in sustainability is when all the 12,000 employees are committed to sustainability and drive it forward and approach us with ideas, what they do, and that is really success for me, but surely we also have KPIs we can't do without. So one of our major goals is, we set for ourselves to be CO2 neutral by 2025 in our own production, and put on a more ambitious level now with our just recently approved science-based targets for net zero in our own production for 2030 and in scope 3 for 2040. So that is really ambitious for a company like ours. So we're constantly measuring this, and we have the same challenges here like Procter & Gamble. How can we measure? Yeah, so we have someone that is supporting us in calculating everything, bringing the data together, and it's good to keep track and to find out where are the hot spots, because then you can target your activities in the right direction. And we now know about the hot spots we didn't know before. We had maybe an idea about, but now we have it black on white. And it was sometimes very surprising that these were the hot spots, but that helps, communicating about the progress that we are doing in our CO2 reduction, and then also keeping the people engaged and contributing ideas. How can we further reduce the CO2? What can we do in our own behavior? What can everyone contribute with small little activities to reach this whole big thing?
Katrin, how present are numbers and KPIs in your job already? What are the ones for Deutsche Bahn?
A little bit the same, climate neutrality until 2040, including scope 3 emissions, which is ambitious. The KPI is, of course, climate gas reduction, of course. Another important KPI for me is the recyclate part in our huge like stones and steel and stuff like that. That is what we measure as well, and where we have goals to reduce, to increase the recyclate anteil. And one I love very much because it's new is that we are glyphosate free at Deutsche Bahn since 2023, which is one deal in the direction of biodiversity. Not important for you because you have to be sure, but that was different at Deutsche Bahn. To be honest, we are searching for other KPIs to measure biodiversity, and we will give us a strategy in this year, 2024, but we are still searching. But as I am Elsa and I have super forces, that won't be such a big problem. And I have another 7 months to go.
Exactly.
That's why we meet here.
That's
it's
why
great.
we're here.
So we'll have a
GreenTech
talk.
Festival. Good. If we would meet again, let's say in 2050, because we live very long long and prosper. What, apart from different KPIs, what would have changed? How does Deutsche Bahn look like in 2050 in its sustainability portfolio?
Of course, Deutsche Bahn is climate neutral in this year, that's for sure. And of course, a lot more people and a lot more goods are running on our railways, that's for sure too. And we have a strategy on biodiversity, as many other companies have, so we could stop the loss of biodiversity in Germany and on the whole world, and that would be really great.
I love that. It's a world peace atmosphere now. Gabi, how does it look? Procter & Gamble in 2050.
I can tell you what will not have changed. We will still be focused on improving consumers' lives. This is, what is true to us, since the beginning of more than 185 years, and which is important because this is, our mission. This is our purpose, right? This won't have changed, but I'm sure we will do this in ways that are not linearly different, but, in radical different ways. There will be a big transformation. I think we are discussing here as well circular economy. Steffi Lemke mentioned it this morning. Obviously, will be a very different way of consumption. When I look now at what's in the product portfolio, I know that there are new inventions already in pilot, like completely dry products. Not, what you currently have, but new technology. They're partly already in test market. So there can be very new forms of delivering the jobs you want to get done. So I'm really excited to see, how we are living together in 2050.
Philip.
My vision would be that we don't sit here as a single company, but we would sit here as partners. So if you invite somebody for the panel, it's not me, one person coming, but it's a group of people coming. We are a group, but we were chosen or selected or coming together. But this is my vision. We need to work in partnerships, and we will sit here in partnerships.
Absolutely.
Then we'll solve the problem.
Michaela?
Yeah, 2050, that means we are then a net zero company, which would make us really, really proud, and that would have come only with collaboration across the value chain, which I really, really love. So I'm coming from innovation management and cross-functional work. I just love it. And for sustainability, you need this in a more, let's say, embracing manner, not only within the company, but also across the value chain. And we have made it then together, stronger together for sustainability. Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Big round of applause.
It's time to wake up.